Hey everyone, welcome to episode number 4 of Final Score. We have some special guests with us, Cobra and Bigsnackks, to talk a little bit about college football. Before we get into our picks, we want to talk about the LSU-Alabama game because we have some experts. That's why we have Bigsnackks and Cobra. So guys, let's talk about these games coming up this weekend and your thoughts.
How about we let the rookie go first?
Let the rookie go first. That's fantastic. I don't know. I'm looking forward to it. I mean, they've been building up to it for a little while, and it's I'm so tired. It's not even funny. It's going to be good to catch on the TiVo because I have kids. So,
well,
that's
thanks for that. Thanks for that insight on
the
that.
Insight.
Yeah, very good. I think it's going to be a great game. Alabama has a hell of a defense, and with Nick Saban, you never know what kind of game plan he's going to have for the offense. They definitely have the advantage, I think, just playing at home as well.
Who has the better cheerleaders?
Oh, that's a toss-up. That has to be a toss-up.
Pretty much anybody from the South is going to have some pretty decent cheerleaders.
Yeah, you vote two Southern teams. They're gonna. That's gonna be close.
Let me ask Rick, if Alabama loses, you think they still belong in the national championship, even if they loss and then run the table?
Yeah, even with that one loss, there will be no team in the country that would have played the caliber of teams that Alabama or LSU played. You know, you're talking about LSU would have been played after Alabama, we're talking 8 top 25 ranked teams. Alabama, after playing LSU, we're talking 6. LSU started the season off with Oregon, then turned around and played West Virginia. And Alabama did the same thing. They always play good out-of-conference games, which always keeps them in the top 5, you know, which most teams water down their out-of-conference games because SEC conference is the strongest conference in the nation, which everybody knows. And with that schedule alone, nobody plays a tougher schedule, even though at the bottom, the SEC is weak right now, but still, just playing in this conference is a challenge within itself. Then playing in the Western Division makes it even worse, you know, because you got Alabama, LSU, and Arkansas all in that Western Division, which is absolutely nuts. And out of all 3 of those teams, there's only one loss between the 3 of them, and that's Arkansas's loss to Alabama. You know, so it doesn't get any better than that.
LSU and Alabama are in the same division in the SEC?
Right.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I was going to say, if they weren't, that would be, they could rematch each other, but apparently they can't because they're in the same division.
Right, which bumps out the rematch, which is going to make this really the national championship game because there's no way they'll let them play each other again, even though they're between the 2 of them, there's only going to be one loss because somebody has to lose on Saturday.
Yeah, whoever loses, I don't think will be able to play for the national championship, even if they win out, just because of, like you said, they're both right there at the top, and then they won't have the chance to play each other again. Or the loser probably will not have the chance to play in the championship game for that.
Well, put it like this: you say LSU beats Alabama. Alabama probably drops to 5 no lower than 6 nationally still ranked, and if LSU loses, they drop to 4 at the most.
But you're going to put a team who's 1-4 or 1-5 in the national championship over like Oklahoma State or Stanford?
Oklahoma State's going to lose to Oklahoma. Stanford's going to lose to Oregon. So there's your 2 one-loss teams, and the only other undefeated team that will be left is Boise. And there's no way that they're getting in.
I hope it actually turns out that way, where you have 5 great teams that all have one loss, because then the BCS can really look itself in the eye and figure that one out, because I would hate to be a voter for that.
Right. And their natural choice could be Boise, but Boise's in a non-AQ status, so which basically knocks them out of the punch.
And
They
they're
don't-
not
they
even,
don't
they're
play
not really
anybody.
playing anybody. I mean,
Right.
the next 5 games or 6 games are against low teams.
Right. But you put, let's see, so Wisconsin has lost twice.
Yeah.
Stanford still hasn't lost. Oregon has their one loss. And which Stanford will lose to Oregon and then end up playing each other for the Pac-12 championship. Then somebody's going to have 2 losses, and the one loss Oregon is not going to get back to the national championship game. You know, only one loss team that can get back after a loss back in the national championship game is a team from the SEC. Other than that, but how are you going to put Boise over top of a one-loss anybody from a major conference?
Yeah, I don't think you
dilemma.
can.
Yeah, and that's the dilemma they're going to face, which is going to bode well for everybody, because then hopefully that tips the tables to where we get a +1 system. I don't want the super playoff. I'd rather have a +1 where 2 plays 4 and 3 plays 1, and let them play in the BCS bowl, and then whoever wins out of those 2 games, then they play each other for the national championship game a week later.
Yeah, I agree. The biggest problem, though, with that, and they got to figure it out, is there's always going to be somebody left out, and then it's how do you figure out who that left out team is? Because since everybody doesn't play everybody, it's hard to figure that stuff out. Like,
Right, but that's the thing. It's not gonna. You pretty much won't have a debate, because you're gonna go by ranks 1, 2, 3, and 4. You know, that way, if you finish the season 1, 2, 3, or 4, that guarantees you a shot. You're gonna get 2 bowl games. You're gonna get a regular bowl game, a regular BCS bowl, and you'll also get a chance to play for the national championship.
yeah, you're still going to get the haters on it just because.
Yeah, that's gonna happen.
Typically, like 3 through 6, 3 through 7 are all similar ranked teams as far as wins losses. So there's going to be those teams that get left out still, and even if you do a four team playoff. But
Yeah.
I mean, there's no perfect system just because you have so many teams and so many different conferences. There's always going to be left out teams.
Right.
Yeah, there's always going to be somebody left out. It's the same thing with the NCAA basketball championship. You know,
Yep.
There's always going to be somebody that's on that bubble
Which is funny
and
because they
be
keep
left out.
Because there's
They
like
keep-
96 teams and there's like 108 teams total. So
Yeah, it's funny how they keep adding more teams every year. It seems like.
Well,
Yeah.
because they keep making more money.
Yeah, absolutely. That's why I don't understand why college football doesn't switch to some sort of playoff. I mean, why would you not want extra games? It doesn't make sense.
Because then that means the NCAA will have to work harder, and they don't want to do that.
That's true. That's true. All right, well let's get some picks on this game. Just see where you guys are at. Puma, what do you think?
I'm
LSU
gonna have
versus Alabama.
to go with Alabama. Looking at who LSU has played and who Alabama's played, I like Alabama a lot better.
All right, what do you think, Snacks? I probably don't even have to ask you. But
Oh
I'll ask
yeah,
you
you
anyway.
know I'm rocking Alabama all day. There's no question.
Bob Train, what about you?
I'm going to go with Alabama.
Cobra?
As
Jay
much as I would
Cleveland.
love
Oh,
to go with LSU, I'm gonna have to say, I saw the Arkansas and I saw the Gators game with Alabama, and they came out really strong. So I'm gonna have to go with Alabama.
Yeah, I'm going to Alabama too, and one because they're at home. I think that's a huge advantage. Playing playing at LSU is a pretty tough place to play. So I think Alabama has a big advantage there. I like their coach better too.
So we're all
There
on
we go,
Alabama.
Everybody for the win.
I like Saban. I'm a Big Ten guy, so it was kind of sad to see Saban leave MSU like he did, but hey, it worked out for him.
It worked out in a major way.
Yeah, it did.
Well, you gotta think he's the only coach in the NCAA that's won national championships at 2 different schools, both in the SEC. So
yeah, he's a hell of a coach, man.
that right there tells you how good of a coach he is.
Absolutely. All right, well, thank you, Bigsnackks, and thank you, Cobra, for joining us this week. Appreciate it.
No problem.
Yeah, thanks,
No
guys.
problem, fellas.
All right,
Thanks.
stick around for our picks.
Yeah.
Yeousch, damn it.
All right, guys, we're moving on to this week's picks. First up, we're going to have the Packers versus the San Diego Chargers. My marquee game, at least for me. But it's a pretty big game. The Packers are undefeated going against San Diego. San Diego had a big blunder. If you guys don't watch football, they had a chance to win the game late on Monday Night Football, and then they fumbled. Pretty bad thing.
Blew it. They blew it.
They blew it, kind of like blowing your load early. It's pretty much the same thing.
I don't know about that.
So, you know, the Packers versus San Diego, I'm going to go here, and I think San Diego's going to come up pretty big, but I think the Packers are going to win this game. What do you think, Babe?
Is San Diego at home or are they at Green Bay?
They're at home.
So it's Green Bay at San Diego.
Yep.
I'm gonna go San Diego then.
Wales vagina.
I think they're gonna turn around.
I
Puma?
don't.
Puma, what do you think?
I don't think they're going to turn around at all. San Diego is having some serious issues with Phillip Rivers. I'm going to go against them.
What I'm hoping for is that Green Bay loses a game or two before going into Thanksgiving to make that Thanksgiving game that much bigger for the NFC North. That's my hope, anyways.
We can all have hopes and dreams. Speaking of which, Cleveland and Houston. You can only hope. Big Puma, what do you think?
Well, I think it depends on whether Peyton Hillis plays. I still don't know if he's going to play or not. But even then, Houston's been playing pretty well. They got the pretty good defense. It's getting stronger and stronger. So even without Mario Williams, so I'm going to pick Houston.
Babe?
Yeah, Cleveland's terrible. Give me Houston.
So we're all on Houston. I'm going to go with Houston. All right.
Cleveland is just fucking terrible.
Yeah, and Babe, your Detroit Lions are on a bye, so you get a little pass this week on that one. So we have, obviously, LSU, Alabama, which we already picked, but our marquee matchup this week is Baltimore versus Pittsburgh. Early in the season, a lot of people were saying Pittsburgh looked old and slow, and they've turned things around. They beat the New England Patriots last week, and Baltimore had a little bit of a scary moment against the Arizona Cardinal. The Cardinals. But who's going to win this game? Babe, you want to go first?
Sure. This is a kind of a tough matchup because neither team is as good as they used to be. They're both supposed to be still very good, but neither one of them have played all that great. I think Pittsburgh has played more consistent than Baltimore, so I'm going to go Pittsburgh.
I think you're right. I think Pittsburgh is going to win this one. Coming off the big win, I think they're hungry after having a slow start in the season. I think they're going to pull it off. Big Puma, what do you think?
Yeah, I agree. Big Ben's having a better season than Flacco, even though he kind of sucked it up against Houston, because that's how we do things. But you're right. Coming off that win against the Patriots, they're going to be still pretty pumped up about it, and Baltimore's just not what they used to be, so I'm going to go with Pittsburgh.
All right.
Let's go with the shit game, too. We got Oakland Raiders versus who?
The Denver Broncos.
The Denver Broncos. Get some Tebowing action going on. If you guys have any Tebowing picks, make sure to send it to Bob Train. He loves that shit.
Oh, I love it. I love praying all the time.
Tebowing for the win. All right, I'm gonna go. I'm actually gonna go Tebowing, Tebow all the way, Tebow all the way to have a rebound game against the shitty ass Raiders.
Yeah, I think so too. I mean,
Hold on, I'm sorry to cut you off, but they were just on their bye week, the Raiders. So you think Carson Palmer might have a little bit more understanding of the playbook? So.
but they're still without Darren McFadden, who is like the main player on that team.
True enough. I'm sticking with Tebowing.
As am I.
I'm going to go with Oakland on this one.
Well, good for you. Good for you, sir. All right, well, that wraps up the picks for this week. Thanks again to Bigsnackks and CobraWolf for joining us. And stick around for Bob Train's picks of the week for Yeousch Sports. And we will see you next week.
Hey guys, this week's featured videos for Yeousch Sports. Got two great videos. The first one's an NCAA Football 2012 video, and it actually is a mascot game. I know it seems a little bit strange, but it's done by JLoco11, and he is one funny commentator, so even though it's a mascot game, he brings his own style to it, and it's hilarious. Let's take a listen.
Bust one tackle, pop through this one, and I am gone, bitch! That is right! You are not catching an orange with feet, motherfucker. See that tree? Ain't got no goddamn orange. How you gonna tackle me, bitch? So I set that shit off perfectly to start the second half.
All right, our next video is done by Call the Kopataz, and I think I'm saying that right, but he's a new sports commentator here on the Yeousch Sports Network. So go over there, say hi, tell him welcome to the family. But he does FIFA games, and let's take a listen in and hear what he has to say.
No, and I'll be happy to do it for you. And SA Sports Gaming is number 2. So I'm going to probably send a couple more in, especially to Yeousch Sports one, and hopefully we'll get up. So at the moment, I've just hit 1,000 subscribers, which I'm really, really excited about.
All right, guys, there's our two featured videos of the week. As always, you guys can submit videos to be featured on this channel for Final Score. And thanks for listening to episode number 4. I will talk to you guys later.